Christmas is upon us, so I've decided to do an unboxing video of Aldi's Advent Beer Calendar. Now, Advent has everything to do with religion. This show does not. This show is all about beer. So basically, Advent is the countdown to Christmas, and what better way to count down to the holiday than by drinking a beer a day. Except I want instant gratification, so we're gonna do all 24, because I'm an adult and I can do what I want. I will also be tasting all of them. It's going to be like a double unboxing vortex of unboxing videos, because I'm gonna open the box and I'm gonna open the beer. So Aldi is a German-based company, so I'm expecting there to be a lot of German beer in here, which I'm excited about because I love German beer. Now this whole box costs about 50 bucks, and you get, as you can see, Vanna White moment, 24 beers in the Aldi Advent Beer Calendar, which breaks down to about $2 a bottle, which isn't a bad deal, but we'll see once we taste the beer. Maybe it all sucks, and it's totally not worth it. Guess we'll find out. So this is one of those situations where you have to get up bright and early to wait in line because Aldi only makes so many of these Advent calendars. So I got there a little over an hour before they opened, and I was 6th in line, and then somebody who works there will come out with a voucher. You get 2 vouchers per person, and that expires an hour after they open. So plenty of time if you wanted to go get some coffee and then come back, as long as you make it before they expire. Okay, let's get down to it. What is behind door number 1? Maybe. Jeez. That first one was a little hard to open. Beer number 1, we have a German Pils. I love just a standard German Pils. They're really good, just kind of everyday beers. Pretty light and refreshing. They'll have some German floral hop characteristics, Pilsner malt character. So just kind of get some light malt flavor with some snappy crispness from the hops. It's okay. Not the best German Pils I've ever had. It's not the worst. I want there to be more malt character. It kind of just lacks character. It's kind of just bland. Like there's simple classic beers that have a simple flavor profile, but there's still some character there. And I feel like it's just kind of watery. Whoa. Bye-bye, German Pils. All right, beer number 2. Now these aren't in any particular order, so you kind of have to hunt for them. 2, where are you? Over here. Beer number 2 is an Irish beer from O'Shea's, craft brewed in Ireland. This is a Session India Pale Ale, or a Session IPA. So this one is going to have some of that bitterness that you would expect from an IPA, but because it's a Session, it's going to be lower in alcohol. It's not going to be quite as intense. You can definitely smell the hop aromas. Get some citrus, maybe a little bit of melon, maybe a little bit of stone fruit, a little bit of spice. There's not much hop bitterness. My guess is that this beer might be a bit old, because IPAs are best to drink when they're fresh, because as the beer ages, those hop characteristics will start to disintegrate. It's important to keep your IPAs refrigerated. That will help with that. It'll help keep it fresh. So this, I'm sure, since it's coming from Ireland, who knows how long the importation process is. It's always difficult to get really good fresh beer when it's coming from overseas, but this beer isn't bad. It's drinkable. Beer number 3 is, oh, it's in a green bottle. I always take caution with green bottles because beer stored in green bottles can tend to get light struck. This really is a thing. It'll skunk the beer. It'll make it smell skunky or like weed, but not always. Some beer companies actually, so the reason it gets light struck is it's a reaction with the UVB or UVA rays from the sun reacts with the hops in the beer. And some companies are able to treat their hops, so it's okay to store in green bottles, but I'm always like, every time I see a green bottle, I'm like, ugh. We'll see. This one is just a German style lager. Seems pretty general. It smells a little skunked. I'm debating on whether or not I even want to drink it. Beer number 4. Jeez, I feel like a little kid at Christmas whose grandparents duct tape wrapped their presents. Come on! O'Shea's, another O'Shea's. Oh, except it's not an IPA. This is a Celtic or Celtic, however you want to say it, wheat beer. This says a refreshing wheat beer with a well-balanced bitterness, adding a distinctive bite to this Celtic style. Looks like a nice creamy white head, which is what you would expect from wheat. It's almost on the verge of smelling like a German Hefeweizen, which Hefeweizen is all about banana and clove. So this one definitely has a little bit of yeast characteristics, but not quite as strong as you'd get from a German Hefeweizen. This one's pretty good. This might be my favorite so far. Although not my favorite beer ever. It has that nice texture from, that nice fluffy texture from the wheat malt. It does taste a little more bitter than I would expect from a wheat beer. But that's not to say it's bad. There's more bitterness on the back end. So right away I taste, definitely this is a wheat beer. It has a little bit of those fruity, a little bit of spice characteristics from the yeast. And then it finishes just a little bitter on the back end. It's not very prominent. It's very, very subtle. I mean, the bottle does kind of set up that expectation with the bitterness. It's a little more bitter than a traditional wheat, especially if you're going to compare it to a German Hefeweizen. But you know, I think with the expectations that they set up with this description, I'm not necessarily disappointed with this. It's almost like a Pilsner trying to be a wheat beer. It's not terrible. It's the best out of the box so far. Who wants to come over and drink my dump bucket later? Maybe I'll drink it at the end of this video. Ugh. I'll review the dump bucket. Beer number 5. On the 5th day of Christmas. Maybe there'll be a golden ring in here. They make these perforated, but see, little. Do you see how it's just not? Okay, beer number 5. This is a Belgian dark beer. Ooh, Abbey style Belgian dark. It says it's traditional. So Belgian beer is all about the yeast, and Belgian yeasts will give beer a nice fruit and spice characteristic. And typically Belgian beer is very carbonated and usually higher in alcohol, so this should be fun. Whee! Definitely pours out a dark color. It is dark, it is brown, but it has, if you hold it to the light just right, it has some of these like fiery ruby red colors that come through. It kind of reminds me of a gemstone. Ooh, it definitely smells like dark fruit, like black cherry, maybe a little bit of plum, or like maybe a little bit of raisin. Some spice. There's a certain sweetness to it I can smell. Another thing, Belgian ale tends to be on the maltier, sweeter end of the spectrum. It definitely has more complex malt flavors than the previous beers. I've had a lot of Belgian beer. This one, comparatively to a really good Belgian, isn't the best. Just seems like a really weak example of what Belgian beer really has to offer. But it's still good. I mean, just kind of so-so. I don't know. Beer number 6. Man, I don't think... You'd think that they wouldn't want you to drink these. Beer number 6 is Irish Lager. This one says hopped several times to create a unique blend of textures and aromas with a mild bitterness, creamy malts, and a clean, balanced finish. Is it bad that I think this Irish lager is better than the German lager? Okay, Ireland. Okay, I see you. It's almost like their wheat beer was trying to be a Pilsner, and their lager, or Pilsner or whatever, Pilsner is a lager, their lager is trying to be a wheat beer. Interesting. It's pretty good. Beer number 7. Another green bottle. Saint Helena Premium Lager Beer. Oh, product of Belgium. Look at Belgium trying to do another lager. I don't know if I'm just anticipating it, but it smells light struck. It smells skunked. I don't even know if I want to drink this one. Oh, that one's stale. That one's actually stale. Tastes like cardboard. No. Nope. Okay, number 8. Number 8. I'm really mangling up this box. I feel like a rat trying to make a nest. Oh, another one from O'Shea's. O'Shea's Grapefruit Pale Ale. Bursting with flavor. We'll see. We'll see, O'Shea's, if it's bursting with flavor. Well, you definitely smell the grapefruit. Now, the grapefruit could either come from the hops or actual grapefruit additions. It kind of tastes like maybe they did a combo of like citrus hops or something, and maybe they added a little bit of grapefruit juice. Man, I hate dumping beer. Oh. Beer number 9. Ooh. This is another wheat beer from Germany. So you've had a wheat beer from Ireland, now a wheat beer from Germany. Let's see, I'm anticipating that this one will have a little bit more banana and clove in it, since it's hopefully a true German wheat beer. So it'll use some Weizen yeast. Ooh, I'm definitely getting some of that clove spice in there. A little bit banana. It's a little fuller body than the other ones. I notice a lot of these beers seem to be a little watered down. Nice carbonation, nice flavor, nice body. That's pretty good. I would say compared to some other German Hefeweizens that I've had, or other German wheat beers that I've had, this probably isn't the best example, but it's still pretty good. I mean, compared to the other beers that I've tried so far, this one might be one of my favorites. I actually don't want to dump this one, but we must continue on our journey. Beer number 10 is a robust stout. Ooh, robust. The combination of chocolate, crystal, and oat malts in this brew make for a truly smooth stout. Okay, so we already know just from the description to expect some chocolate flavor. Crystal malts will give it a little bit of like a raisin, like a burnt sugar or raisiny flavor. And the oat should give it a silky sweetness. So I'm actually kind of excited to try this one. It's got a nice tan, creamy head. Woo! It's very perfumey. Definitely smells some alcohol. 7%, which is pretty high for a beer. Not the highest, but it's pretty high. I don't know. Not very good. It tastes like they use some cheap 6-row barley. It's kind of tanniny. I definitely get some of that roast, that bitter roastiness. And also it tastes like, I definitely get some chocolate as well. It tastes like a really bitter, dark chocolate. If that tannin quality wasn't there, this beer would be drinkable, but I don't know. I'd set this one aside to make like a roast or some shepherd's pie or something. Not sad about that one. Get over there, you. We'll just put that one in the back. All right, Beer 11 is a Belgian White or a Belgian Wheat Ale from Christoffel. This is an Abbey-style Belgian White. So this is a Belgian wit or white or wheat, and it is brewed with orange peel and coriander, which is very traditional for this style. I love a good Belgian wit. If you've ever had Hoegaarden or Blue Moon is similar. It's a pretty label. It's kind of wintry. It's got some stained glass type artwork on there. Feels like it fits the Christmas spirit. It's similar to that German Hefeweizen or that German wheat that we tried a couple beers back, except instead of banana and clove, we're gonna get orange and coriander. Ooh, it's very soft, pleasant aroma. So right away when I drink this, I get this burst of flavor, and it's very zesty, but then I feel like it just falls off really quickly. It's a little bit watery, I feel like, for this style. It almost tastes like they maybe added a little bit of orange syrup. It's not bad. I mean, it almost kind of tastes like a mimosa. Like if you were to make a mimosa and then pour a little bit of beer into it, this is what this tastes like. If you go into it with the right expectations, I don't think this beer would be terrible. But I've had a really good Belgian wit before, and I feel like this doesn't really compare. But it almost just kind of feels like its own thing. Like, I could drink this. I could drink a whole bottle of this. Is it the best Belgian wit I've ever had? No. But it's drinkable. Okay, one more sip. I definitely think some juice or some syrup was added to this, which would maybe explain the lighter body. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of these beers are kind of watery. Like they're maybe water. It kind of tastes like watered down versions of a better beer. Beer number 12. Beer number 12. Ooh, it's kind of a cool looking label. It says 1758 Belgian India Pale Ale, quality since 1758. And this is an original recipe, what it says on the bottle. Okay, so it says a perfect blend of 6 hops. It has East Kent Golding, which is a very high quality English hop. Willamette, actually never heard of that one. Citra, Mosaic, those are both not English, those are both American varieties. So Citra, we're gonna get a lot of citrus. Mosaic is kind of, you know how it sounds, it's a mosaic of different flavors. So it's all kinds, especially, it's known a lot for like berry, you have mango, some tropical fruit, some citrus, kind of a little bit of everything. It has Equinox and Centennial. Equinox I'm not familiar with. Centennial is a classic American hop. And so American hops tend to be more citrus forward, and sometimes you might get some pine in there. Sounds like there's a lot going on there with the hops. So right away I'm getting tropical notes. I feel like I'm getting a lot more from the mosaic hops versus like the Citra hops or the Centennial hops. I would have thought that those two combined would have made this more citrus forward. So the East Kent Golding hops would contribute a little bit of earthiness. And maybe like some apricot. I do feel like I'm getting a little bit of apricot. It's definitely fruity. Let's give it a taste. That's actually pretty nice. It's not too bitter. The bitterness kind of sneaks up on the back end. I just think it's really, with hoppy beers, beers that have been heavily hopped, or styles that are more hop forward, where the hop characteristics are really what is being put on the pedestal, it's important to drink those earlier on. Usually you want to drink those within 2 months, and you want to keep them refrigerated, because really, if you don't refrigerate beer that is hopped, and the longer that it ages, the more those hop flavors and aromas will start to disintegrate. And I feel like that's with these hoppier beers and the Aldi Advent Calendar, this is what is happening. Like, I wonder what this tasted like when it was freshly brewed. I mean, it's not bad, but I feel like it's not like, if you're expecting like American IPA that you would drink fresh from a brewery, that's not this. It's like it's just a shadow of what it maybe started out as. So it's not a very intensely hopped beer. So depending, I guess, on what you like, if you like those really intense hop characteristics, you might be disappointed by this. If you're not so much into IPAs and you wanted to give it a try, you know, you may end up liking this. It kind of tastes like the Belgian White that I just tried, except it's more heavily hopped. I'm definitely getting those like citrus, those fruit characteristics, followed by a subtle bitterness that kind of sneaks up later on. Not the best beer. It's okay. I could drink it. Beer number 13. What is behind door 13?